she's probably the only author that I know in this period who describes what it was like at a Lord's Supper, at the order of service in a Lord's Supper. Baptists, we don't write down our orders of service normally in detail. And so how did they do the Lord's Supper? And there's 2 pages in the tract she writes, and she says, when you come and see the table covered, right, the cloth of the table, think of this. And then when the bread is taken and blessed, the prayer bread for it, think of this. And when the bread is given you and you reach out your hand, think of this. And when you taste it, think of this. And then she does the same with the cup. And what she actually does is she describes exactly what happens at a Lord's Supper. And most of our churches, amazingly, we still do the same. It's the same procedure. The elements are covered, and then the cover's taken off. And there is after maybe a short word, there's a prayer of thanks for the bread. The bread is passed out, and then the congregation partakes, and then the same with the wine. The one difference is it was a single cup. Not those little things. And those little things, and again, please note what I'm not doing. I'm not critiquing the little cups. The little cups came in the 1900s after a huge number of diphtheria epidemics, typhus epidemics in large urban centers in North America. Urban centers became centers of disease. Massive typhus, typhoid, diphtheria, various waterborne epidemics. And so people brought in the cups. Huge controversy when the little cups came in. The little cups do destroy one thing, the unity that we experience at the table, because there's a single cup. I don't know if you've ever been in a context with a single cup. In some of the English Baptist churches in the country, I was at one near Leeds, and I was speaking this evening, and I hadn't noticed when I came in that the Lord's table was set. And I came down, and they took the cover. Oh, it's the Lord's table. And then I noticed, to my horror, I'll be honest here, there's a single cup. And I did my theological training at an evangelical Anglican seminary, fabulous school called Wycliffe College, and they had a single cup. But number one, it was silver. Number two, it was wine that was used. And number three, the person who would give you the cup would wipe it. So I'm thinking, okay, so do these Baptists know this? It did turn out to be wine, but they were going to pass the cup down the row with no cloth to wipe it. It was silver and it was wine. That's what I discovered. And then this is really, I'm ashamed of this. My first thought, I'm first in the front row, so it doesn't matter. But the single cup, afterwards I reflected on that, and I thought, this is what it was like for these for these Baptists we're talking about, the single cup. And it really drove home that there is one cup. And I'm not arguing that we go back to that, but somehow we have to catch that idea. For Anne Dutton, the Lord's Supper is a corporate experience. And a number of years ago at the seminary where I teach, and then I'll stop and we'll have questions, we had students present a petition. We'd like to have the Lord's table in the seminary. And this is back around 1993. And I really hadn't thought the issue through. And so the people knew that I was interested in this sort of thing. And so they said, Michael, why don't you go and research it? I thought this was an easy one. I went home thinking, I'll have the answer tomorrow. Of course the students can have Lord's table in the seminary. And about a year later, I came back and I said, no, we're not a church. Yeah, we don't baptize people. We shouldn't be having the table. The table is a corporate experience of God's people covenanted together in a local church.